Today we're going to look at complex numbers. Complex numbers, first thing I want to cover are multiplying with square roots. This is our goal. Before we get there, let's real briefly talk about how we would multiply square roots and what happens. So we have square root of 9 times square root of 9. What I want to do first to show us how this is going to work, because let's actually get the square root of 9 and square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. That means the square root of 9 times square root of 9 is 9. When you multiply a square root by a square root of the same number, you get that same number. So square root of 12 times square root of 12 is simply 12. And we're done with it. So let's multiply these complex numbers right here. We're going to set this up just like a binomial times a binomial. We have 2 and negative the square root of 7 right there. Here we have 5 and square root of 7 on top. Now we multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times negative square root of 7 is negative 5 square root of 7. And then top right box, 2 times square root of 7. Okay, sorry, I had to pause the video for a second there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have the square root of 7 times square root of 7 is going to be 7. Of course, 1 is negative, so that's going to be minus 7. Just like when we have binomial multiplication, which is just a variable, not the square root, these right here are going to be peanut values again, and we're going to add all these up. Now, we also have peanut values here. 10 plus negative 7 is 3, and negative 5 plus 2 is going to be minus 3, and we cannot forget to include the square root of 7. That is our product. Look at number 2. For number 2, we're going to set it up just like we did the other one. 3x there, and for the square root of 20 here, 2x in the top, first top slot, and negative 3 square root of 20 on the top right. When we multiply the different parts of these terms, we need to break it up. So for this first one, just like with regular binomial with multiplication, 2 times 2 is 6, x times x is x squared. 2 times 4, 8, nothing to multiply the square root by, 20, and then an x. 8 square root of 20x. And right here we have 3 times negative 3, which is negative 9. Nothing to multiply the square root of 20 by, and then we have an x right there. Now for the square roots, we're going to do negative 3 times 4, and that is going to be negative 12. And then when I have 20 times the square root of 20 times the square root of 20, that's going to get me 20. So it's going to remove that square root sign. This is going to end up being multiplication here. This, when I multiply negative 12 times 20, that's negative 240. Now, because we have an x here, we're not going to have the same peanut value. We're not going to have this second peanut value here. We're just going to have like terms right here. 6x. Oh, I'm sorry. That should be squared. Didn't put that earlier. 6x squared. We have negative 9 square root of 20x and 8 square root of 20x. That's going to end up negative 1 because 8 plus negative 9 is negative 1. So negative square root of 20 x minus 240, just like that.